gavel, so
Okay,
I
all right.
just made that decision that I'll pound it, and,
Found it.
but looks like we need a determination of quorum, and I see that we have 5 of us, so we have a quorum. And do we need to think about who's chair, and what's the update on, do we have new members of the,
We are currently soliciting for new members. I have 2 interest forms currently, so I'm trying to communicate with those folks to see if we can fill the commission out to a full 7. A chair does require that commissioner to have served at least 1 year, so neither of the 2 new can serve as chair. If we want to add that to the agenda quick, and you guys want to determine who is going to be your chair for at least the next year, we can absolutely do that.
Could I nominate Seal Strauss as
Could I
chair?
second that?
It's up to the commission, it's not me.
Okay, I say we do that.
I call for a division of the House, I think is the term. All-
Thankfully, we don't have that.
All in
Yes.
favor?
Aye.
any opposed, we're supposed to say also.
Is there anybody opposed?
I could accept it. I know I'm going to miss the February meeting. Okay. So,
Very good, thank you, Seal.
thanks, I guess.
You're welcome.
Yeah, my Robert's Rules of Order are a little rusty, but I think I can bring them up to
Maybe
speed.
better than mine.
Yeah. So, looks like the only item on the agenda is review of the proposal for the mural. And Chris, you must have a report for us.
Not so much a report, but I do have the same things that were emailed out to the commissioners last week. So hopefully you had a little bit of time to review that, put together any thoughts you may have, but we'll run through it here as a group as well. This is a proposal and an idea really born out of the Arts and Culture Commission. So we've discussed this. I've discussed it with them. They've discussed it internally. They went out and solicited some ideas from artists. And this is the rendition that the Arts and Culture Commission has kind of landed on. And because this is proposed to be on a park and rec facility, this commission also needs a chance to weigh in, provide some feedback, and ultimately give that feedback to the Arts and Culture Commission if necessary, but ultimately to City Council as well. So what we're looking at here is basically it's player cards on the side of the arena. And this side is the side that faces 61-316. It's the big, long gray side of the arena that everybody sees when they drive by. So pretty cool. The cards themselves, the content of them is still subject to change a little bit, but we want to review kind of the overall idea. So, I mean, ultimately what this is me going through the slides and commission's reactions and comments and questions, and we'll take some notes and we'll provide that feedback back to the Arts and Culture Commission and City Council. Our staff at the arena, myself and a few others, have reviewed this. There's a couple of questions, right? So, and I think some of the information might be inside of it, but how big are the individual cards? Are people gonna be able to see it when they drive by? So 2 things right here. The biggest one in the middle is almost 16 feet tall, so that's a pretty good stretch. The little ones probably look to me to be about 8 feet. So if you envision a 4x8 sheet of plywood, that kind of size, we'll double check that, but we want to make sure that it gets sized correctly.
I think it says 5 by 7.
5x7.
Yeah.
Well, good job. I didn't read that far. The other piece for me is I want to make sure that they're lit. The arena is used a lot in the wintertime, and there's not a bunch of light out there. So I do need to go by there and see what kind of ambient lighting is around. And then do we have the chance to to provide some either uplighting or downlighting onto these. And I think we have some exterior lighting that we might be able to connect into for that. But that's something on a staff side that we certainly want to do. You can kind of get an idea, scale, and we do have that trail that runs right in front of that on the side of the road as well. So if people want the opportunity to park in the arena parking lot and walk down that trail and really get a close look, they have that opportunity as well. So yeah, ultimately looking for,
One quick question, Chris.
yeah,
Well, in a statement also. Yeah, they need to be lit because wintertime, I mean, it gets dark at 4:30, 5 o'clock. My other question is these are not technically painted on the wall, they're painted and then attached to the wall, correct?
correct.
Okay. Just so we don't run into a situation where we have to hurt the wall itself to remove something.
Yep, they would be, I think it's a sandwich of metal and some sort of foam, closed cell foam. That they would paint onto that and then affix that to the building itself. And as you recall, that's kind of a undulating side too.
Well, that was the other thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Yep, so, yeah, it would be affixed to the side, so.
Just so it's smooth.
Theoretically, you know, they could change out, or if something happened, one could be taken down, fixed, put back up, that kind of stuff as well.
I had a couple questions, and I'm being a little bit picky, but, you know, I love this. I love the sports figures, but then we're mixing in history. Is there any reason to just leave it sports since it's our arena and not try to do Hastings history? And the other question had to do with these sports figures, you know, I know some of their parents and stuff, but do we need to ask for their permission?
Potentially,
Yeah. Yeah.
yep, potentially. So all of that stuff is in the conversation as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw the note here that they realize they can't have the NHL branding on
Right,
there.
right.
So they'd have to remove that. I'm sure that's a copyright or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, pay some money to the NHL.
And it is, they do have the space that, you know, if they were to go with showing those that are NHL players from the city, they actually have more space if there's other future ones.
I really like that. It gives
Yeah, yeah.
other kids hope.
Yeah, I
Yes.
like that.
And a challenge.
Yeah, just like at the arena and the Cubbies, right? Who's next?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and the C.A. Lund Company, is that a company in town?
They make sticks, I think, don't they?
Yeah.
That's what it says, Northland Hockey Sticks?
What's that? Not anymore. I think that's part of the
That's
history
the
piece of it, right?
historical you're getting at?
Okay, yeah. That one's all right, though,
I
because
like
it's
the hockey
hockey.
history,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
kind of agree that we have plenty of Hastings history
Yeah.
around here.
Yeah,
I think, my opinion, I agree, that just more history of hockey would be fine, but Hastings history, I
Sure.
don't know.
yeah, it's a
We got
weird
plenty of
mix.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I like the Lund Company
Yeah.
thing. I like the color, how colorful it is. It's hard for me to see scale. What did you say, 5 by 7?
5 by 7?
That seems kind of small. I'm 5 feet tall. For that big of a space, that seems.
The width,
Right.
yeah.
Right,
Height is 7 feet, I mean,
right.
that's a fairly.
So me and
that's
my,
like taking
me
a-
and my tippy toes.
I mean, at 5'7", it's like putting a Prius on the wall.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a pretty.
It's a foot
large
shorter
size.
and a foot skinnier than a sheet of plywood.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that's one of our questions, right? Is
Right.
is the
And
scale the right
I
size?
like that it could be added onto. I also like that you could take one down if somebody,
Yeah.
you know, did something, like
Yeah.
went to jail or something.
got caught gambling.
Well, there's always things, right?
Right. That you could
yeah.
swap them out. You could have different ones. Yeah, I like that.
I myself don't have a problem with the history pieces on it. I think that you know, we are a community, and we don't have all that much around the city that actually illustrates some of our history, and this is a nice place to do it. It's very public. I don't have a problem with that at all.
It would provide a spot, like say, for instance, you had another star that came out, ended up in the NHL, and you could say, all right, we're taking down the bridges, putting their picture up, so you have some placeholders. In that sense, it's good, but.
Yeah, and on a staff side and from Hockey Day Minnesota side, right, because that's coming in 2026 in just over a year, we're contemplating some ways to tie that in as well. And I don't know if it would be particularly on this wall, or if it would be, we've had a thought, it's around the other side of this wall as you enter the arena. Right, we've got a big blank canvas there as well where we could do something similar, memorialize Hockey Day in Minnesota 26. Thoughts too, right? We also have a strong figure skating community and figure skating history here with Riverblades. So those are some of the other pieces of feedback that we've received as well too.
Yeah, I understand these aren't set in stone, it's just a concept, right?
Yeah,
So-
I think there's the opportunity to guide what some of it could be.
So what you're saying then is there would be a possibility among these potential signs or placards that are going up that we might put something about figure skating or something like that on this wall?
I think there's potential for that.
Okay? Because even having something about community skate would be nice too. You know, people realize that, yeah, this isn't just a hockey arena,
Sure.
right?
Yep. Yeah, I want to be sensitive and a little bit careful about directing an artist's vision of art.
Right,
Right.
Very, very respectful of that.
Right.
But if there is an opportunity where, through commission feedback, staff feedback, Arts and Culture Commission feedback, council feedback, that, hey, we want to direct this piece of it, I think there's that potential. Can't make any promises, but I think there's potential.
just
You-
to,
Just to answer a couple clarifications for the rest of the commissioners here. These people that they have on the wall are the people that have their lockers there already. So that's the only reason why they're on here. It doesn't mean that they are going to be here. I'm just saying that's what the artist looked at and said, okay, these are up here right now. We're gonna throw those up there and then we go from there. I think the biggest thing is everything can be removed, everything can be changed at any time, and things can be added. There's a lot of space left on this wall. If we are lucky enough as a community to have another professional hockey player, he can go to the end, he can start at the beginning. It doesn't matter. There's plenty of room there. And it's not like any of this is set in stone. I think, you know, a figure skater up there would be great. I think that's awesome. But yet we can't put it up there and say, okay, this is Riverblades figure skater, because that's not, this isn't advertising for a certain thing.
no.
So that's the thing that we need to watch ourselves on, is advertising for a different company.
I get that.
Yeah, representation of that sport.
Just-
Right, exactly.
Just out of curiosity, we don't have a Hastings equivalent to a Tara Lipinski or a Michelle Kwan, do we? Somebody
Closest
who,
thing we have is a person who owns Riverblades, and that's Amanda Truax. And she was amazing in Ice Capades and other things.
Disney on
but-
Ice, yep.
Disney on Ice, and she graduated a year after me.
yeah,
And
I'm
she
familiar
owns,
with her.
and she owns and runs Riverblades, and she's an amazing skater. But yeah, we don't have a Tara Lipinski, we don't
Okay.
have a Michelle Kwan, we don't have a
We
Scott
don't have anybody who's
Hamilton.
been an Olympian.
Right, no.
Yet.
And if we did, then we could certainly put them
Yes,
on it.
right.
And that's the thing, is there's space to put those people on there if that happens. But I do agree that it isn't just a hockey arena, so we have to put something on there. I think it needs to be noticed that it is also for other things.
Has there been any input from the Hastings Hockey Association with this, or have they seen it? Have they given any input?
That I'm not aware, because this did come from the Arts and Culture Commission. So I'm unaware if they reached out to that extent or not.
Okay.
Yep, I do appreciate that they at least had the nod, as they said, to the girls' hockey with showing the braids there. Because it was pretty heavy on the guys.
Yeah, those are the individuals that came out of Hastings that went on to play in the NHL.
Yeah.
That's,
And there hasn't been a female equivalent of the NHL until,
recently.
Recently.
Recently, yep.
We'll get there.
Eventually.
You know me, I'm a proud supporter of women's sports.
Yes,
I know you are.
yes. Any other input for Chris?
I like the concept, Chris.
Yep.
I think it's a great idea. I also know that the NHL, like with these cards, they're fairly open to releasing rights for things like this.
You know, I would suspect if it's an artist's rendition of something, and we're not putting
Right.
NHL logos on things,
Yeah.
we're probably just fine. But all of that will have to
Exactly.
be squared away.
Yeah, I love the idea of it. I think the concept is
It's
awesome.
great, and right now, it's just a big bare wall, so why not?
Yeah.
Are you looking for a recommendation from the commission on this evening?
Really looking for feedback on what's presented and what's been developed so far. So you guys have done a good job at providing that feedback. And that's what we want to give to commission and council. All right.
Okay. So it looks like the next order of business is department updates.
Yes, it is. I'm going to do these on the fly a little bit. The arena project continues, that refrigeration project. The solar is on the roof. That connection has been made. I believe they're doing some final testing and coordination with Excel before it's 100% active. But that's going well. We're looking at end of January for the new ice plant to be up and running. So we still have the temporary chillers that are out there that are running the sheets, and everything is working fine. So looking forward to that. For the Lions Park warming shelter, it's been a little bit of a long process, just trying to figure out parts and pieces with our insurance company. Did meet with one consultant today, and I'll be meeting with another consultant here soon, so they can develop the architectural plans for that building to be replaced in kind, with the potential that we can modify some stuff, understanding that insurance will only pay for replacing it in kind, one for one.
It's like an
Opportunity,
opportunity.
yep. And maybe it costs a little bit more, maybe it doesn't cost more. So we'll work through that process and continue to get that going. What else we got? Lake Rebecca project. We should be close to bidding that within the next, I'm going to say, 2 months. We did submit for a funding extension, so we can extend until June 30 of 2026. The LCCMR staff are supportive, but that has to eventually get signed by the governor. Don't see any reason why ours would be pulled. There's a long list of people requesting extensions. Our concern, it's out of kind of an abundance of caution. If we have high water on the Mississippi River at the wrong time of year and we have to have a project complete by June 30, well, we probably won't have it complete by June 30. And we lost 3 months in 2024 due to high water. where we couldn't even do some of the investigation work down there because Lake Rebecca empties a lot slower than the Mississippi River drops. We send it all out through a 4-foot wide gate while there's still water coming in underneath the sand dam. What else? Our trail project in the Three Rivers area that connects Tuttle and East 31st Street was a great project. That's all done and wrapped up. It's fantastic to have a nice new trail connecting those two areas. Dakota County's Vermilion River Greenway trail sections are complete. There's a little bit of a punch list items for them to do in the spring, but those trails are doing really well. It's nice to have 10-foot wide trails through there, 12-foot wide through Vermilion Falls Park. Yeah, so that's been a great project. All of our course signage for CP Adams Disc Golf Course is installed. Well, I shouldn't say all. There's two warning signs that we have to put up that just warn people on the trails that they're entering a disc golf course. But the rest of the course maps and the big 4x4 kiosk sign that shows how the course is laid out, all that stuff is in place now. And people continue to play all winter long, which is fantastic. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's really good.
Question on that. Do you guys have to, do you actually have to shovel off like the little tee box? Oh, okay.
Nope. Our
Perfect.
staff does not. There's people that go out and use that course that do.
Oh,
So it's users that do that work in the wintertime. And we have some, in particular, one really dedicated volunteer out there that's helped us through kind of the redesign, relaying out some of the stuff. So instead of an 18-hole course, we now have 21. You can option to play all 21. You can option to play 8. You can option to play 9, whatever you want to do, right? So there's options that are out there. And we'll look to continue to enhance that course as we can. But we've got some work yet out to do there with the tee pads. There's some that are old and broken and cracked. Now that we have all the new ones in and the old ones that aren't getting used out, we'll start replacing those this year as well. But, what else do we got? We discovered late this fall at the Aquatic Center in the pool gutters, there's quite a bit of failed concrete in those gutters. So we believe we're losing a bit of water through those gutters. We also found a cracked pipe where I didn't expect to find a cracked pipe. So working with the company that built that pool to come in and do a job and get that stuff fixed up early in the spring. So we can reduce water consumption and reduce chemical consumption over there, which will be great to have that done. What else do we got?
What about the signage for the bike trail?
Trails. I have a plan sitting on my computer screen right now that I have to review. So we should be getting close to ordering that. First phase, again, is the 10-mile loop, and second phase is our more interior trails. But we should be able to get some of that stuff ordered so we can install in the spring.
And would your team do that?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty simple install on that. Yeah. Yep. Coordinating with the Vermilion River Greenway and Dakota County's signage is a little bit challenging. So I think we're in a good place for that right now. Some of our signs will actually hang on their posts,
Okay.
so we don't have to pollute with signs all over the place. Just make it work out nice.
That kiosk type building that goes down right by is that
You gotta turn your microphone on, Carl.
why?
So everybody at
So,
home can hear you, Carl.
All right, I just have a question about when that's gonna get some work on it, because it really looks bad. It's the little kiosk as you go down into the boat launch area. It's like,
Oh, at JC Park?
yes,
I'm considering removing that stinking thing.
okay, just removing it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. It's in tough shape.
yeah,
I don't think we don't use it as it was intended to be used. We're continuing to work with Dakota County. So in the future, I'm going to say next couple of years, 2 to 3, we might actually have something to do with that old piece of Blue Bridge. That would be a great gateway entrance into Hastings. That's where we can have some interpretive and informational signage as well. But yeah, that kiosk doesn't do much, and I struggle with a reason to keep it. It's on my list. That's kind of it for us. 2025 in the Parks and Rec, we don't have a bunch of projects like we have for the past couple of years, which is totally fine. We've got Lake Rebecca yet to get through, some final touches at Isabel, and we got some boat launch stuff to work at JC with Department of Natural Resources and at Lake Isabel as well. So we've got plenty of stuff yet to do, but kind of happy to have a little bit of a slow year ahead. It'll be good.
Are there any, like trails that are on the docket to be,
Not in 25,
not until what? Not in
not this
25?
year,
Okay.
yeah. Yep.
What was happening with we had worked on the overall plan for the arena. How about the Vets complex?
The Vets Complex, just a reminder that almost all of the athletic facilities that are developed out there sit on state of Minnesota land. That lease is ending in 7 years, and have been trying to connect and meet with the Department of Veterans Affairs to discuss renewing that lease for another 50 years, or do they want to sell us that land for a song and a dance? Do they want to trade that land for a little bit of land that we own that's closer to their campus? So want to have those discussions before we invest in a visioning plan for athletic facilities?
And that might take 7 years.
Could. It could. But we'll continue to try and coax the Department of Veterans Affairs to speak with us and consider that. Yeah. With that, if there's any other questions, happy to answer them or do my best.
Okay, any other orders of business?
Seal, I guess the one thing that I would say for commission is maybe we workshop next month and let's have a sit-down discussion and see what sort of work, other than coming to meetings and dealing with developments and park dedication and those sorts of things. Are there other things that this commission wants to work on in 25?
I'm
Have
glad
that.
you brought that up, because I was going to ask when, if we could do that at one of the next couple meetings.
I think next month, and we can workshop it.
Did you say you won't be here?
I
next
won't
month?
be here,
Okay.
yeah.
If in advance of that, anyone that's not going to be here, if you want to provide us with some ideas, or if you feel strongly enough and you want us to wait until March, or if it's a workshop, we can always find a different day. So days that work for folks.
Yeah, doesn't have to be on a, what day is this?
Wednesday night at 6.
I'm retired, I don't.
Yeah. Right. And I just I'll be out of the country the last 2 weeks of
Oh.
February, so,
Okay.
Ah,
Costa Rica. Yeah. So,
I'm thinking
Yeah.
plans for Costa Rica myself.
so, yeah.
So
But
we'll
I
look-
think that's a great idea to have a workshop and talk about some other things, because I'd like to see us, when I was on the board the first time around, we were still called the Natural Resources and Recreation Board, and I think that there are some of the natural resource aspects that we could be looking at in addition to some of the park things that we do.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, we'll coordinate on that, whether it's next month or March or
Okay.
some other time in between to workshop with the commission.
Great. And it might partly depend on if we get a couple new people,
Right.
when they could be available.
Yep.
because that, I think we had a workshop soon after. There were 3 of us that started at the same time, I believe. And we had a workshop soon after that that was very beneficial for new people.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Anything else?
This maybe is not pertinent, but, you know, on the 29th, they're doing a thing for training for all
Right.
the commissioners. And if we've already been through it, do we have to go through it again, and would it be beneficial?
You do not have to go through it, period. We encourage commissioners to go through it. We offer it. And, yeah, it's our attorney, Corey Land, is the one that does that. So procedural things and all that kind of stuff. But, no, if you don't feel the need to go to the training, you don't have to. If you want to, you are more than welcome to.
You get extra
Yeah.
credit.
Extra credit,
Yeah,
You get to serve an extra sip.
They'll give me dinner anyway,
Yeah?
that's true. And if you haven't been through it once, it's beneficial to go
Yeah.
to. I don't think our stuff would have changed much, but I'm interested in what they tell them for the planning commission and stuff like that, just from a professional standpoint. Okay. Any other announcements or business? I'll take a motion to,
Move to adjourn?
I will move to adjourn. I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? We are adjourned.